Hello, and welcome back to another YouTube art video. This one will be taking a look at a project that I worked on a few weeks ago, the Capsouls Catalog, and unfortunately there is footage of me working on it because I worked on it on stream for about I want to say about 20-ish hours to get all of them, to find all the reference of the ones that I've drawn mostly, and to put them into a somewhat comprehensive guide or catalog, so to speak. Um, there are parts that are still missing, such as like the names for a lot of them are kind of non-existent, but the art is here. Maybe I can incorporate some of the work videos, but probably not, because the file size was just too big. And as much as I would love to share like that process of each step, I should have done a much better local recording, and I thought I could be slick and do a screen recording and then download that. That is a bad idea. For you out there wanting to do stuff like that, don't really do that. Do a local recording, because the screen file is like 8 times bigger than like the local one for me. I don't know if that's for everybody or if it's just for me, but without further ado, I'm an artist, I'm Anwa. I draw pretty much whatever I want or make whatever I want. And yeah, the capsules obviously inspired by the likes of like Shin Megami Tensei, Pokemon, Digimon, Metabots, Monster Rancher, things of that nature, Bug Sight and things like that, you know what I mean? So without further ado, let's get to it. Not all of these have names, but I will just be going over each of them and either explaining them or describing them. So this was the first one that I drew, and I remember I drew it inside of a Sketchbook Pro on my computer, and it was number 1. Bunny was number 1. But technically, the first capsules could theoretically not be Bunny, but I think it is, because in the thing when I was doing I have to draw like 50 characters in like 30 days challenge, it was Bunny was number 1, and I don't remember the other numbers because I don't have the file open, but Bunny was number 1. Bunny is pretty much like a normal type monster. It lives in like the fields, like grass plains. It loves carrots, very generic, very cliche in that way. And it's just a little guy. It wants to get stronger, but what will it get stronger into? No one really knows. And then you have Hippo-chan, or Hipponon, and essentially it's like a hippo, and it's like a little hippo dragon, and this is it facing forward. It's usually pretty small, and sometimes it could be green, but the that cape type tail thing right here is like a layer of mud that it wears around on its head, like a little cape, like a little hat, and it lives in like like muddy areas. Very needs a lot of moisture. It's a little guy, also gonna get bigger. And then you have a pier, which is a much kind of like a bigger guy, and he is a little a little unhinged, a little psychotic. Not really much is too much known about this one, because you don't really want to run into them, but it's something to be noted. This one is called a pier. And then you have one of my favorites, one that's a little bit more fleshed out, Chickadee, and it's a little chick. It wears a little bandana. It has little shoes. It is also a little guy, and it does have a preliminary second stage, which is like a guy with like 2 Gatling guns, so very like Digimon, but I have not committed to that, so it's not here. And then you have this fella. I believe there is no name for this one, but it's like a ghost spinning top, and essentially not much is known about it. It is just a ghost and a spinning top with spikes on it. I drew it on my tablet, and it's the first iteration of it is much better than the second one, which was like very formless. but this one is a comfortable compromise between the two. And not really much is known about this. Our tech will be inside of our capsule field guide, so I won't say too much about them, but except there's a mechanical like octopus, you know. This one doesn't have a name, but it's like a little like mouse, like a little rat, and it lives in a city. It does like little rat things. It goes around, you know, rummaging through trash cans and scrounging for food, and it's pretty friendly for the most part, but it can be kind of hostile at times due to lack of food or hostile environments. And this is its evolved form, a much bigger version, and it's also still a rat, and is a bit more territorial. It looks it is very protective of the little ones, and yeah, it's like the bodyguard or the leader of like the groups that they come that they are a part of. And this one is Joey, and is essentially a pot. And I got the name for this one from watching Dawson's Creek. You know, like Joey Potter. Like, you know, that was it's kind of the joke. But yeah, it's essentially like, you know, a bit of a parasite. It hosts itself inside of fine pots, and it can change its shape and form in order to attack. And it does not need to eat, but it can if it wants. This one is Lars. Lars is a goblin wearing psycho armor. It lives in the woods. It eats mushrooms. It is a you know, kind of a psychic monster that will, you know, undoubtedly do irreparable harm if upset. And then we have a little chameleon here named Cham Cham, and Cham Cham loves to swing from its tongue on trees. It loves to rest in the sun, and Cham Cham does boast the ability to change color in certain situations, so you gotta look out for that. This one, I don't remember its name, but it is the first stage of another monster later on. It lives in the desert. It likes to strike poses near cactus and pretend to be a cactus and shock those who approach it. But it does spend a lot of time in desert-like areas, dry and arid areas, and it spins on its tail like a top. You know, it just rides around on its tail. And then we have Stark, which is, you know, kind of like a praying mantis bug. It wears a leaf as a cowl, and it essentially is a warrior bug, and not very much is known except that they have a high level of fighting and a code of honor. This one is Hampeller. It is a pilot hamster. Its tails swirl around to generate propulsion, and it flies through the air and attacks with swift speed. It wears goggles to prevent debris from getting in its eyes, and it is a coveted pet in the world of capsules. This is Were, who is a dragon with unlimited potential. Were can be either tiny like this or get big like this, and it has things that are not yet seen, but its mouth is super big and it can pretty much eat anything in one bite. So that's Were. And then we have Whom, who is like a forest type elf ninja, and he or she or it does not really like to fight. It more so just likes to, you know, take it easy, chill in the light, i.e. the sun, and eat peaches, because peaches are its favorite food. And then we have Eromai, which is a warrior type capsules, which has a flower gun and a leaf scythe, and its head is protected by a form of a leaf created helmet, so you can never see its face. It's kind of wrapped up in leaves like a battle armor, and it is a protector of sorts, and it's very strong. It's you know, a very strong monster, very strong creature, and it is also very rare. Then you have Bully. Bully is a boxing capsule. He is very aggressive at times, but has a heart of gold and will protect those he cares about, and loves to eat certain types of candy. Really loves like taffy, cherry taffy to be specific, and yeah, loves a good fight, loves a good box of match. And then we have Tidy, a little penguin that loves to be very clean, and sometimes you can find them interacting with laundry detergent in a way that they probably shouldn't be. And their evolved form is Fresh, much older version, wearing some of the nicest gear, and being a very fresh individual, being very cleanly, taking great pride in their appearance, and that's why they got the name Fresh. You have Reno, a form of like a boar type creature, wearing like a full body suit. The part of their face that is the most sensitive is the part of their face that sticks out of the overarching shell. They are very territorial. They like to stay alone, and if you encounter one of these, you may be in trouble, maybe in severe danger. And with these fangs, they could really rip you apart. Any is like a little caterpillar. It's just a larvae. It's an any, and it's unseen potential that will transfer based on the environment into this one. I didn't come up with a name for the cocoon stage, so I don't really know what this one is called, and I'm sure in the field guide I will add a name because it's going to be in the field guide, but I have no name for this one. It's just the next evolution for any, and the next stage after that is Maladjusted. Maladjusted is essentially a moth that is kind of reckless and very unhappy with the way things are, so it's maladjusted. Not very much is known about them currently, but I'm sure there will be more additional things. But as you can see, this is the line for them, and then we are moving on to the next page. So that was page 1 of the catalog. This is page 2. So page 2 of the catalog, we have a bit more of some issues here, because there are things here that we know of, and there are things here that we don't know of. So we have the yellow one, which I can't remember if this one is named Biscuit or this one is named Biscuit. One of these is named Biscuit and one of them is named something else, but for the most part this one is pretty much like a little like sock puppet type creature, and it has a latent psychic energy. It is very dangerous because you think it's a toy and you interact with it, and it can essentially send you into a state of unconsciousness, so to speak, and that's very frightening if it feels threatened. Then you have this one. This one is a little more chill. It's just a silly little guy. He doesn't really do too much. He loves to eat oranges, and he likes to run because he has these 2 little legs, and he likes to run, and he likes to sleep. And then you have this lamp cat-like character. It doesn't have a name. This lamp character is very rare, very unique. If you ever see it, it usually would be at night. If you see it in the daytime, it's even more rare and potentially dangerous, but it is a isolated item that sometimes invades people's rooms and kind of just stays there on its own. There's been reported cases of multiple of them gathering and abandoned homes and lighting them through the whole night on their own. Then you have a fire, who also does not have a name, I believe, and this fire is the manifestation of fire, the embodiment of fire. It is relatively tame in its existence, otherwise it would be burning everything down. It does not like to eat, but it also is very cautious and careful despite its carefree and wild-like nature. It does have a evolve form that comes up later. This one is more like a boss or a legendary, which I want to workshop more, but it also does not have a name. It is a bit harder to draw it the way it was on the tablet, but is a big monster guy, essentially like an old king, and he just rests with his sword, and his kingdom is lost. So you have Duali, which is a twin slash kind of monster. It has all these claws and all these different spike points on its body, and it loves to slice and dice, and it's relatively, it can be nice, but Duali is not very nice. Duali is a very territorial creature that wants to maintain its sovereignty for the most part. And then you have Paida, which is a spider. It likes trees. It likes to, hide in the shade. It loves these types of things. Very cute. You have Mushu, a mushroom warrior. It loves to, be one with the forest, and it drains. It takes energy from the plants around it and returns that energy tenfold when given the opportunity. Its spores are known to send many things into a frenzy, which will lead to them becoming fatigued. This is a plant, like that one big plant, I forget what it's called, like Titan something, but it has no name. It's just a big plant, big flower, and yeah, it obviously hangs out in tropical environments. This is a jellyfish type monster or something like that. Also no name. It's very tame and very normal. Doesn't really do too much. It lives in the water. Then we have Beetle. Beetle is a unique monster that has very little to do with anything besides being a beetle. Like, it does what a beetle does. It's very specific in that way, but I love it because I love beetles. And then we have Giraffe. Giraffe lives in like a plain area. Anywhere that might be like geese or something, Giraffe lives there. It's a very like small, kind of compact giraffe, because you have to remember that capsules are not animals. They are toys that essentially gain sentience and mimic the thing that they might be based on. So, Giraffe loves to be in a little grassy areas where it can graze and eat and behave in a giraffe-like manner and not be a giraffe. But yeah, then we have this fire monster. This is a legendary monster. I forgot its name. Well, it doesn't have a name, but it is a legendary monster. It essentially is a dragon with a mane of fire, and it's pretty cool. I really enjoy him. It lives on the roof of buildings during the summer. It will appear due to the enhanced fieriness of the locale, and it becomes enraged and flies off to different supermarkets where it hunts for for battles and whatnot. And then you have this little guy. I forgot his name, but it doesn't have a name. I keep saying I forgot his name. It doesn't have a name. And then it evolves into this bigger guy. You can see these two, and this one is obviously like just a cute little monster, but it definitely has like a fighter spirit. And then this one is a bit more kinder, even though it's a bit more sharp and angular. There's a bird here. This bird fella, I don't have a really name for it, but it's pretty much like imitates the behavior of like seagulls and whatnot, and does what it needs to do. This one is Jelly. Jelly is a jellyfish. I love jellyfish, so there's so many of them. And Jelly usually swims in big clusters to prevent predators from attacking them. And then you have Jellies, which is like the second form of it. which works with the big clusters to keep them protected by being the extensions for their attacks and whatnot, and is a very cute thing. And then you have another monster. This one is a wrestler based on wrestlers, and I don't believe it has a name, but it fights. It loves to wrestle. It loves to put on a good show. It's very passionate about wrestling and grappling, and looks out for the much younger capsules and makes sure that they're okay and tries to protect them and keep them from being mistreated and whatnot, and always is an advocate for justice and whatnot. And then you have this one, which is also a legendary. It is a dog kind of capsule. It is a legendary. It is like a kind of like a shadow hound and partially robotic. So you have to be very careful when you run into a enemy or this creature, because your days might be numbered. And all right, page 3 of the capsules catalog, and we have Dwell. Dwell is a monster. It lives in the plains. It's kind of a brute style monster. It often is alone due to its scary appearance, which makes it angry. We have a lizard that wears like a chainmail armor because it wanted to be a dragon, but it figured it can't be a dragon, so it wants to be a knight. We have fish, which is an arrow type goldfish dealy, and fish has a name. And then we have this plant that kind of looks like one of those other things, but it's not. Trust and believe. This one obviously lives in the forest, lives in gardens. It's pretty vicious. It hawks toxic all over the place because it's just a mad little plant. And then you have this fella. He's just a happy little guy, just chilling. Not too much to say about him. He doesn't have a name either. He's a normal kind of guy. This one is like a kangaroo, like buffed up kangaroo. It's hard to see because of the way the silhouette is, but it's got like strong arms and a pretty vicious monster that'll give you a good fight. We have a snake legendary guy. It's kind of like based on one of those big plants that are like the nectar plant or what it's called, but it's like a snake. It's a legendary type. They live in the forest and they are not very nice, but they can be guides to those who are trustworthy. We have Poppy, which is just a flower. Poppy obviously lives in like the meadow. You can find them floating on the wind occasionally in the spring, and in the fall the population decreases dramatically due to the change in the environment. We have this little bug that looks similar to rain bug, but it's not. It's its own little bug, no name. And yeah, it's it lives in the general areas. You can find them in parks or even in like homes, garages, wherever. You can find these little bugs anywhere, usually at park benches. This is another pincer type bug, and these are a bit more vicious. They will attack you if they see you near their nest or their burrow. No name. This is Nugget. Nugget is a little bird. It's like a an owl, like a chick of an owl, and Nugget wears like a little pants, and it's very scared, always nervous. And then we have Tomei Pie, which is a tomato spider. It has a red liquid that it ejects to disorient enemies, and it can create up to 900 meters of silk in one day if given the time to do so. Then we just have this little another little beetle guy, very uninspired. He needs some reworking, but I just love the little beetles. We have another jellyfish-like creature or octopus, and he's a suction cup kind of guy, no name. And then his evolved form is a much longer kind of suction octopus kind of guy, but also no name. We have another bug, no name for this bug, I believe, and is a stands upright stag beetle kind of creature, and it loves to fight, much like the rest of these other guys. They all do love to fight. They love fighting. And then this is Sleepy. This one is like a plant. It rests on tree branches and things like that. It does emit a special toxin from its mouth that when it's sleeping, it drips out. And if it hits you or you smell it, it can put you instantly to sleep. So it's dangerous in that way. And when you spot them, you should report them because they are a danger to society, knocking people out left and right. And then we have Flower, which is also in the Capsules guide. Flower is just a beautiful flower that is happy to exist. Usually they are incapable of wanting to fight, and they are usually a healer and a supporter, but they can fight if driven to its frenzied state, which has really not really been seen too many times. Then we have another, I guess like marsupial type creature. No name for this one. It's just a monster who is angular, sharp, and very fast, and can jump really far, and can roll up into a ball and use the serrated edge of that ball to cut through granite. So very strong, no name. This one is Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor can perform feats of superstitious magic and cause indefinite harm to those who engage with it. Do not ask Witch Doctor for anything because the things that it gives you will always be that of dangerous environmental intent on yourself. And we are on page 4 of the Capsules Catalog, and this is another monster, just feet and his little eyes and mouth. No name. It's just cute. This one is one of my favorites. I've been drawing this one for years. I think actually this might be the first capsule. This might be before Capsules, before I started doing the thing. And this one is called Mooby. It's essentially just a little mouse, and this is its whole body, and it's very cute and is a very loyal friend. Then we have Flinks, a little firefox, who was going to be called Napsune at one point because of its eye, but I settled on Flinks, and we have Aquat or Aquacat, a little water type crab cat creature. And then we have Onald, which is a grass-like golem, lives in the forest, protects the forest. A little rat type creature, no name for it. And Robberine, based off of like the eggplant by somebody's suggestion. And then we have like a little tadpole creature here, who obviously lives in like really disgusting bodies of water, unfortunately, because it started to turn green. We have Noel, who is a grass creature, very serious grass creature, does not like to play around, very angry, always always in this bad mood. We have this other little like mouse creature. It's always crying, always like afraid, and has a predisposition of being nervous and anxious all the time. And then it transforms into this much bigger rat with like a big sharp fin for a tail, and he is much more capable, less anxious, and a little bit more mischievous. And these ones will protect the little ones, but sometimes they'll tease them too, so pretty funny. Then we have this little gecko-like creature who likes to stick to trees and licks the bark to attract bugs to eat. because its saliva smells sweet, and bugs usually go to the saliva and then they'll eat them. And then the much bigger version of that one no longer can stick to the trees, can ram the trees with his massive forehead, can swing at the trees with his massive tail, and his body is just overall bigger. Its tongue still emits that sweet scent, but it's a much more of a bruiser in this state, and much more vicious as well. It has no prior conviction to protect the little ones, but you know, you never know. This one is uh, another bunny type thing, just a bunny cotton ball type creature, lives in the meadows and woods and whatnot, and doesn't really do too much. It can float on the wind and travel that way, but it's always often in danger, and is a, you know, little guy. Then we have a fire boar, who I also don't have a name for, unfortunately, and he wears a collar that is a energy turbine kind of thing, and he emits flames through his tusk, and he cannot be burned by his own flames. He can use them to attack, and he is a legendary. If you come in contact with him, you are in for a heck of a battle, because he will not go down easy, and is very strong, and as well as very bulky, strong, bulky, and very hard to beat. This one is just a little green slug. If you don't know, I also love slugs. I don't also just love beetles and jellyfish, I love slugs as well. So this is just a little slug guy, and just a green slug, not really too much, no name. You know, like I said, a lot of these guys don't have names because it's hard to come up with names for them. And this one is like a horse, a heart horse, and a horse llama type dealy. Has a heart in the front and a heart for the tail. It is fast, it can jump really high, and it is a healer. It doesn't really like to fight. This one is another little guy. On its back, it wears like a bell that it swings around to disorient enemies. This is another variation of rain bug that is a fuzzy larval stage. And then you have this particular bovine type creature. It's like is a psychic kind of cow, and it can hurl itself with its psychic energy. It can throw other things with psychic energy. It can also predict the future. And then this one is the psycho version of that cow. So this one is you know, a fuzzy bull, or psycho bull, or something of that nature, where it's just insanity has gone amok, and it can essentially do whatever it needs to do to destroy you. So if you come in contact with this one, you may not, you know, make it back. But this one is a little bit more nicer. This one is little bird, you know. So this is Little Heat, and Little Heat is just a bird that likes to run around fast. It's also you know, has dragon genetics. So it's like a little chick with a little bit of dragon genetics. It tries to run fast because it needs to get its speed increased faster, so that it can one day get the tracksuit and become Boiler. You know, this one transforms into Boiler. Boiler is a track star bird. It can run really fast. It wears this pressure cooker suit, which on the inside its body is you know, fried, and, or I guess pressure cooked, boiled, and that creates a scenario in which Boiler is just very fast. It wears sneakers. It's very quick. It is one of the fastest capsules to date, and it can also glide. Some even suggest that it can fly. This one is like a little dog guy. Just really loyal, really silly little guy. No name, just a cutie, normal kind of guy. And then we have a bug. This is a spiderish kind of creature. Has strong mandibles, nice little legs, and it cannot make silk, but it is often found sleeping and doing other little things like crushing like nuts and stuff with its strong jaw. And then you have this little cute fire, uh, I don't think it also doesn't have a name, so just a cute little fire. And that's that. Then we have a little bison type creature, which often stays sleeping, is usually dormant. It has a split tail, a forked tail, and it just is often sleeping around, and you can't really, you can encounter them, but they usually are really big, and they block paths. They don't really like to fight. They only wake up to eat, and if you wake them up for a fight, well, you will see these horns grow into much larger like tubes and become capable of piercing straight through you. So that's something to be wary of. Little grass sprite lives in the plains and in the forests. The evolutionary of the grass sprite, which uses the bottom of discarded nuts and the sap from trees to create a cowl and protect itself in the way that allows it to be a defender in that way. Then we have a bull that has the wings of a phoenix. It wears a hat with or a helmet with a spike out of it. It has big tusk, and it is a brute of a kind of a creature. I wouldn't say that it's legendary, but the wings being that of reminiscent of a phoenix could make it a legendary creature. Then we have Brattle. Brattle does have a name. Brattle's another pre-challenge capsule where just a baby bat and its tail is a rattle. So, Brattle. And then you have Minstrel, which has membranes on its wings and whatnot, and it enjoys blood. So you don't need to think too deep into that. You have this snail. No real name for the snail, just a snail. It's a snail. And then we have a jellyfish. Um, it's not really much has been found out about the jellyfish. Another snail, twin turbine snail. No name for it, but these spots on its back generate electrical energy, and it can disperse it at any given time. It also has sharp fangs. You have another little piggy. This piggy's just normal. It's a normal little pig. No real thoughts about the pig. Just cute. And yeah, So we're on I believe page 5. And this is a snake from the jungle. This is a rare monster to encounter. It's a silly guy. This one is a little guy who transforms into 3 other forms, but none of these have a name. So this one can transform into either this can transform into either this, or this can transform into this, or this can transform into this. So I said 3, but I meant 4. So it transforms into the little mushroom rock, the little baton rock guy, a hidden figure, or another hidden figure that looks like it's from Journey. And all of these are the evolved form of this. So depending on how you raise it, you can get one of these. And yeah, that's that. This one is like a little grass guy with a, it's a little like hedgehog. Like it's like a grass hog, but I don't have a name for it. So it's a little grass guy, and it wears like a big leaf on its head to feel important because it, has a problem, has a emotional unwellness. And then you have this raven type creature that also doesn't have a name. It's shimmering. It's known mostly for the color that it is. When it's in the light, it looks very beautiful and very it looks very beautiful. It looks very how do you say, attractive in the light, and people love to see it. People love seeing these, but they also are thieves and they steal from you. So this one, obviously, you can see is very much based, very much wearing the inspiration of a certain thing, but no name, nothing. This is a cat, and it's a ghost cat. It is very mischievous and causes a lot of problems whenever it goes. So you gotta look out for these guys. Um, this is another boar, a mountain style boar, and it is a legendary, unmovable creature. And if it starts to move, it has been known to rearrange mountains at a whim. So this is a frightening creature to come in contact with. This is a dog-like creature, has a long tongue, zigzaggy tail, and these soft pouches on its cheek are meant to give it a means to be, connected with the other versions or the other entities or the other creatures that look like it, because they transfer their energy through these little soft spots on their cheek. This is a big uh, Godzilla style monster, like much bigger, a legendary type, and it is very big. It is resting dormant inside of a volcano, and to see them is rare. And there are multiple of these, but they don't move around as they cannot consume enough food to have the energy to expend. But if they are moving around, it heralds great disaster is approaching. This is Load, which is a toad that is electric, an electric toad with a split tongue. This is Draven, a raven with a little bit of dragon DNA, and it is always in a state of frenzy due to the red in its eye. This one, I don't think it has a name, but it is just a big monster that is, has a big horn, has a mane type thing, and another like fluffy tail, but its body is really hard and is a good addition to any team. This is a turbine worm, and it doesn't have a name, but it generates electricity through this little shell part and can teleport really quickly through the air. This is a elephant shark, and it has the same cheeks as the other guy, so they can combine their moves together if given the proper environment. But oh wait, no, it doesn't have the same cheeks as the other guy. I'm sorry, that was wrong. But they still can combine their movements together in the proper environment due to other factors. But they don't have the same cheeks. It's a horn. And then you have this little guy. He's just a little purple dude. He's just chilling. He's just a cute little guy. And again, a lot of these guys don't have names. And it's because I feel like naming is probably one of the most hardest. Naming things is probably the most hardest thing. I have a little green apple dude. And yeah, we're getting to the next page. So I think this is what, like page 6 or something. And we have a couple more pages, so I will go through these quickly. This is another bug guy. He is a legendary. This one is based off of like tardigrades, little like tardigrade kind of guy. This one is like a parasite. From it believes that it's a alien from space, but it was made on Earth. A little bear with a handkerchief around its neck or bandana or whatever, and it's just a funny little guy. This is a cat that's a ghost. It's a ghost cat. Another snail. This is a turtle shark, turtle shell, hammer sharp head. This is a mantis that wears the leaves, or not the leaves, the membranes of flies that it's killed as a kind of like a garb, and it travels around looking for fights. You can find it anywhere. This is another cocoon-like creature with untold potential. This is a silly little dragon worm that hangs out in water. It loves the water. This is another ghost dog-like creature, and you can find this at any outside of any abandoned pet hospital or something like that, or anywhere people have abandoned their pets. You will find one of these guys. This is Boulder, which is a boulder that is your friend. This is Venom, Venam, and then you have another one, but that's not Venom. This one doesn't have a name, unfortunately, but they're both like cobra like snakes. And then you have Memo. Memo can It's a sea slug that can reshape itself into anything that it touches or is comes in contact with. So then we have this creature. I don't remember its name, but it's a normalish, like uh, a normalish monster. It can shoot beams from its hands. It can jump really high and it can swing really fast. It's a formidable fighter, and it loves a good battle. This is another little bunny guy who evolves into this much bigger bunny guy. And then we have this little bird, which is like a chicken, and it has a little feather. And we have this is prototype Flinks. Essentially this was like prototype Flinks, prototype Natsume. There was a sketch that I had with these two where it was like had its mouth open, it was trying to eat this, and they are separate now. They are two different things. Unfortunately, a lot of these things again don't have names, but the ones that do have names I just kind of try to remember. And yeah, so this is a electrical dragon that generates energy by coiling its body and uncoiling its body, kind of like a spring. This is a little leaf creature that transforms into a bigger leaf creature, and then it transforms into the biggest leaf creature. This leaf creature is a sniper. It has the potential to launch a branch at 200 miles per hour, which essentially is a death sentence, right, for anything. This is a monster that is based off of water, and it has a long body, lives in water. This is another dragon that lives on the top of skyscrapers, and you will only see them 8 times a year, and they like to eat tin cans. Don't know why. This is also another blue dragon that loves to hide in the ponds at parks. Sometimes people see it and mistake it for things such as the Loch Ness Monster. Whoa. Another boar. This is a dragon boar. It is a rare creature to see. It is part dragon, part boar. It does have the ability to spit fire, but it is envious of other dragons because it cannot fly. This one is... It does have a name, and I honestly forgot what it was. I think it's Enna. Its name is like Enna. It lives near waterfalls and running water. Wherever there's running water, it'll put itself in that environment. Is usually pretty sweet because of the heart on its chest, but don't mistake that for a weakness. This one is a UFO style like armadillo, and if you remember on the previous page, the one that likes to stand in the desert and spin around on its tongue and pretend to be a cactus. This is its evolved form, is like a UFO body type monster, and it doesn't have a name, but it's strong shell from the building. It used the parts from the wrecks of UFOs on Earth to craft a armor to insulate itself, as well as there are things that it can do that have not been discovered yet. Then you got Ikai, which is essentially like Eek-Eye is a ghost. It's essentially formless, but it will take different forms in order to fight. Is more of like a possessed silly putty, if anything. And then you have this little mole with a fire mane and the tail is like a fuse, and it's very stuck up because it's usually taken care of because of this fire can spread and cause real fires. This is a bowl kind of creature. It's a bowl, and then you got fire in the bowl. No name for this one. For the first fire that we saw, this is the evolved form of that. It is another flame, and yeah, this one is a bit more mischievous and does cause actual things to set ablaze. So they are not very much liked. They don't care because they think it's funny. This is a phoenix-like bird. Very rare to see. They usually are seen in the sky and mistaken for planes, but they are not. They will, help put out forest fires and make it so that it rains. Things of that nature they help with. And then we have this jellyfish, octopus guy, who is wearing what has his suction cups are like sneakers kind of, and he likes to kick a lot. He can kick and leap, and his kicks can reach really far and whatnot. And I think this is page 7 or page 6. And we have more bug, no name. We have this guy. I don't think there's a name for him either. Got a little fox here, another little fox. Got a little ghost, and this is a kind of like a dog guy. This is like a little funny little man, and another slug. This one is pretty weird. It's like a troll, and it's hard to find them. We have another little creature, like a blue little rabbit kind of creature. We have a UFO, a bug UFO piloting in a UFO, and sometimes they crash these, and these are what the other guys use to make their ships. So sometimes when these guys get beat, they drop, they lose the ship, and they become de-shipped, and then the other monster takes that ship and becomes whole. Another bunny guy, he's green and whatnot. This is a dragon. It is a type of silly putty that can, has yet to be seen. Another little monster guy, he is part bird, part bear, and he runs around, doing all types of little things, but he's usually pretty melancholy. We have arcade bot in rabbit form. This one is called Myth. We got a little plushy dog with a long plushy tongue, and there's an opening in its back. And this is the last and final page. So we have these two birds, and they do not have names. We have this one little guy here who also does not have a name. We have this one who also does not really have much of a name. This one is a rare. It is a fire snake. This one is an eyeball that is an evil eyeball that has the possession of a fire around it. This one is based off of like a rhino, but it doesn't have a horn. This is another bug with little mandibles and little squiggly eyes. This is a rival to Were, and it transforms into this much bigger dragon, which is very inhospitable and very angry because it can't fly. They have this little tadpole like creature which lives in murky water as well. This bird lives on very specific areas, but people love these birds as pets because kind of like a ninja, so it'll protect your house, but also they're really nice. You have the original, again, more original capsules. So this one transforms into that one, and it transforms into this one, which is all wolves, or not the wolves, foxes that are samurai like creatures, and they have a multi-leg octopus kind of guy with 3 eyes. And that is the entire capsules catalog for now. There's obviously going to be a lot more added, and additionally a lot more. Um, uh, the field guide. I'm working on doing things in the field guide and putting stuff together in the field guide. In fact, we could show a couple of those off. So we got, some of these will be in the field guide, and this is the other field guide cover. You know, so there's a lot of stuff on the way with capsules in regards to capsules, and I want to thank you if you made it this far into the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or as I've been saying lately, like, comment, and devise. And like, look, we made this with some really poor clay, and I tried to color it using the acrylic marker, but apparently, I guess that's not gonna work. But anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Which capsule was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I wish there was a better way to tell which one was which. And thank you. I really appreciate that. And see you in the next one. Bye.